you said this project came together a couple decades ago. How did you get to where you are now? I guess take me through the process.
Well, we all met one way or another through Buffalo. That's our commonality here. Mike and I met back in the late 80s. I was working for Santora's and I walked up on this house in Cheektowaga and the guitar player was playing Pale Blue Eyes by the Velvet Underground. So I got to know Mike pretty quick and
Hmm.
we became friends. And Don played in multiple bands around Buffalo and we auditioned for one of his bands and eventually moved out to Colorado and had some adventures out that way. And then we moved back recently. And Jeff here, he applied for a job where I was working and saw on his resume that he lived in Japan and liked, some bands we like Stereolab and Can. And so we hired him on the spot. Then we all just started playing music together as an output of all that.
Nice. And now, where does the name come from, Opal 98?
It's more of a not necessarily a name more than a state of mind for us. It's how we get together. We give so much time every day to things that need to be done. When it comes time to us getting together to give something to the world, a thought that turns into a conversation, that turns into music, that turns into entertainment. It's more of a state of mind, a place where we get together to make that happen. Um, and that's where we kind of make our existential rock and roll, if you will, as a byproduct of us getting together.
And you call it existential rock and roll. I guess for me, I was like trying to kind of pin down the genre. It's like kind of like electro pop rock sounding. Is that how you would describe it?
Feels like, we can bounce from genre. We're all a little scattered and have different influences, I think. And I think if you listen to that little uh EP, each song, we each pick one song from, of a bunch of songs that we wanted to put on our little 3 song Bandcamp link there. And they're all each a little different. And I think, we, our, we can range stylistically, even in one song, sometimes I feel like this latest thing that we did sounds like, sometimes it sounds like PJ Harvey, and sometimes, it sounds like something completely different. I mean,
It's like
there's
spinning a radio dial to me in my mind. When I listen to the songs or the different styles, it's everything that we always loved on the radio, like as a kid, spinning that dial in the FM or sometimes going to the AM and you catch a glimpse of the Doors or something comes on and you're like, oh wow, and then but it's like the last 10 seconds of it, so then you got to find something new, something else in that range. I think a lot of times our music, to me, that reflects that boombox of like our youth and
a mixtape.
a mixtape of the things that we're into.
Sucks trying to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean it's really it's something that you just got to hear.
Mhm.
The record's called "At the Edge of Harmony," and we're going to be putting it out on Bandcamp here pretty quick. Um, what you heard was probably just a couple songs off the EP on Bandcamp,
Yeah.
but there's one song on there at the very end called "Pierce Arrow" that appears on our new record
All right.
that we're working on right now.
And I sent you a few other tracks too
I saw those. I liked them a lot.
with the
That's right.
yeah. So you got to hear quite a bit of stuff if you did score a bit.
Yeah.
Did
And like I
you?
said, I really like dig the sound a lot. Like it's so good. And I think on top of it, the visuals, like you said, with the lighting right now that you guys are sitting in, and just like the like commitment to good visuals on the actual record art and things like that. Um, I appreciate that as well. So where does the visual inspiration come from?
Um, a feeling that you get. My mind always relates to music. Dad had his vinyls and mom had her vinyls, and going through the different artwork, picking up a Spooky Tooth record just because of the cover and playing it for a minute or two before he went over to mom's and played Michael Jackson. The artwork to me is something that always should feel like the music. And some of the visualizations that we choose to use are examples of those snapshots within the song that reflect in a feeling. Should tie you into the music. That the visual should do that. That's the goal.
And you talked about how you all came together through Buffalo, and obviously there's a lot of Buffalo influence in the music, just not just sonically, but like literally the names and like references. How has Buffalo influenced you as musicians?
Well, I mean, it's really where we come from. Seeing bands, at the Pink and Nietzsche's and Mercury Rev. Can't say enough about those guys. That feeling of being part of that. You got an apartment down off Richmond and you got an attic space and it's hot as hell and you get all your buddies together and you put lab coats on and you go play for 2 hours straight and don't want to break a sweat. We grinded our teeth on moments like that as kids. There was a certain sound about the Buffalo rock and roll that, we all have our own, either been with different bands or, we're just listening to a record before you came on the air here. And who was it by?
Well, a band called Cottonmouth, but back in the day, I played in a band called Last Lemming, and there's a band that I used to play with. We would both play often together, and I just happened to find this old CD of a band that I loved back in the day, and we were listening to it before this interview.
So it cranked down a little boombox. It was great.
Yeah,
good band.
You asked a question about the visuals a little bit, and I'm just curious myself because I like the one thing that kind of the cassette project that kind of like that sort of got you engaged
Mhm.
to me, like this guy here. As soon as I saw it, he got the cultural reference right away, and I'm just curious if you happen to have gotten
this guy.
yeah,
There it
that's
is.
that there.
Oh,
Did you
this
show
guy.
it? That thing?
It's a little dark. It says,
He picked up on it immediately. So it's from an artist still looking, but it's from Magritte actually. Yeah, Renee Magritte. But like I saw a picture in the Albright and like this weird globe thing of his. And I'm like, what in the world? And I got on a kick about Magritte and then saw an image of a pipe and got me on an idea, and that's how the cassette image came about. But I was just, it's cool when people get the reference right away. So that's what I was just curious if he got it or not. But he did. This guy Jeff right here, he got it right away.
That's why we hired him.
Yeah.
I did not actually get that reference right away, but I appreciate the explanation of it. I love that. And now you talked a little bit about Harmony, the upcoming record. What can people expect from that?
Don's probably put the most work.
Yeah,
So listening to it recently, right?
It's a lot of time spent on a project that we're proud of. We give so much to the world every day, just like anyone does, and it's our way of giving something back to hopefully the world will reciprocate and give us some love from it because it's blood, sweat, and beers in it for sure. Again, it kind of takes you back to that old cassette days where you just pop the cassette in and hit play, and it took you somewhere unexpected. A lot of the songs are about those type of situations where you're with friends or reminiscing or dealing with loss or 4th of July is a lot of noise on top of beauty.
Jay writes a lot of well, all of the lyrics, I should say. But like I always,
I'm Jay.
sorry,
Don,
that's Jay. But I always
Mike, Jeff.
I always think about like I am all often because it's something. Well, you never know who's gonna sing what song, but when I sing songs, I'm always brought to those like I am brought to those kind of you know those troublesome teen years that that it seems to like when you're building bonfires where you're not supposed to and but hanging out with friends causing like a little bit of trouble but not too much trouble. That seems like a vibe I get from a lot of Jays.
It's juvenile music with adult problems or solutions, I should say.
And it's extra level of music. Jay is really good at thinking of a new sound or a new type of texture to add to it. And so we just add another layer. It's very layered and it's very interesting to listen to.
Yeah, he'll make a like Diane and I will be hanging out, playing, like the 4 chord progression or whatever, and Jay will go, "That sounds cool, but what if you drag a cinder block across the room while you're doing that?" That type of thing. And you're
And then
like,
you had Jeff's saxophone over the
all right.
top of it, and
like that's he always forces us to look at it from a different perspective, as opposed to coming at it like a standard, singer songwriter kind of way of approaching things.
and they put up with most of the suggestions. A lot of times we just satisfy our own curiosity and try it. It may not make it to the record, but I may keep it on a looper and someday play it in the background during a Zoom interview. It's almost like having an archive of pieces of sound or texture or atmosphere that you can just use sometime and have it with you. I don't know. It seems to come in handy at moments like this.
The lab coat idea of experimenting with sounds. You're in the laboratory. Let's try a little bit of this. Let's take a little bit of this out. We'll add a little more of this and see what comes out.
We always wear lab coats.
And now, do you have like a release date planned for At the Edge of Harmony?
Well, that's something we discuss. We're shooting for. I wish we had it today, but we're stirring that sauce to make it a little bit more thick. We're probably looking at Christmas. I think that'd be ideal. Christmas release.
Yeah.
And now you talk about the different approaches each of you has to like what you bring to the table with the music. How did each of you get started in music?
You could
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah,
why don't you?
Oh yeah, I'm really from Cheektowaga. I was in school band. I had a really my middle school band teacher was really supportive. I majored in music. I played saxophone for quite a while. Went to school for it. Then I got more interested in like recording and a lot of that technology behind it. Studied that. But I've always been interested in experimental music, the kind of art of sound, and trying new things. Not just in like a traditional classically trained saxophone, but totally like developing new instruments and thinking outside the box. So I was like a band geek who got into weirder stuff. Yeah.
That's why we love them.
Michael, you were telling me when we met that you don't have any shows planned yet, but you'd like to. Is that would you still like to play live at some point?
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm actually doing a little something with a couple people tomorrow, actually, but it's actually a little private party. But we're always looking for opportunities to. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're we used to play in back in the in the day we do 4 sets a night in the bars and stuff like that. And that's something that none of us really would like to do at any time soon again. But we would like to do some interesting performances.
Yeah, something organic would be a nice opportunity.
That
Mhm.
won't ruin our livers for the rest of our lives.
Completely understandable.
Going out and playing in the bars, a little long in the tooth for that, I guess. I feel.
And now, is there anything that I haven't asked that you would like to add?
Do you mind if we show the cover of the CD again?
Yeah, that's fine.
CD cover.
This one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where we're trying to get on
Yeah,
Bandcamp here before around
It might be
Christmas.
kind of dark.
Hold on. Let me see if I can. There.
Yes. And the best. Oh, don't show.
Oh. Right there.
We crashed
Oh,
the
it is
standard web.
covering up his,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you were asking about the.
One more.
Oh, sorry.
You can keep talking.
So you were asking about a couple of things, but maybe how some of us got started or something. But I was thinking how I literally got started. Like, it was like 19, hanging out with some people. Jay just happened to pop up, and then got into doing musical projects, big, not big, but on different scales, throughout my life. But always felt like it's where I feel like the part that I like about it, and that it sort of kept it going all these years, is that I feel like it's kind of helps build a little bit of a community, because there's 4 of us here, but there's other people that we've known that make appearances on the records and stuff like that, and perhaps even if they're not there on actual, if they didn't make it on to the actual recording, some of them are very much with us in spirit as well, and whether they're people, we still have connections back in Colorado and down in like Tennessee and stuff like that, and a lot of people we'd love to still get some of these people on the record if they pop in, which one of our friends, Val, she lives in Colorado, and when she was here visiting, we got her on the record and stuff too. So I like to think of it as not only just a thing that is a project where we get to have a nice little product at the end of having some finished songs on recorded and some cool artwork, but it's also like a way that we all get to be hang with each other and stay in contact and stuff like that.
And it's a community. We'd like to reach out to get those people that are friends in Oregon and whatnot, to get them involved with listening to this. Helps bring their story to light too, because they're a bunch of, we've been around creative people our entire lives, and everyone kind of goes their separate ways, but that's what kind of Opal 98 to me is, that school we all went to of creativity together to make us lifetime friends. This is how we get back to each other. Like, I won't send you funeral flowers, but I'll send you a new song. That's just how that Buffalo skin we got. We got a bunch of Buffalo songs on the records too coming up too. One thing to mention, we're proud of the city, and we've been through it all. So,
and just to point out, if you didn't listen closely to Buffalo Gold, there's some definite hockey imagery in that song, and it looks like the Sabres are doing good. Hot minute, but I'm not getting too excited.
Sports theme song, I guess you could say, for as much as we can make one or wanted
to. All right. Well, that is all I've got for you guys. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Looking forward to the record.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thank you so
really
much.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Anyone who's watching, go to the website that we put on there. Subscribe to us on Bandcamp, and then you'll be notified when the new album will be released. And we will most likely have maybe some teasers out before the release of the new album, but the new album should be out by Christmas.
And there's current songs on that webpage too, so there are older songs. There's posted songs, I should say, that's on there too. Something to keep you appetized. But we appreciate it, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Anytime. I appreciate you guys making the music you make. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Have a good day.
You too.